From dust to diamonds. Adewunmi was only 9 when she lost everything. Her parents had gone to the market, promising to return with her favorite roasted plantain and groundnut. She had sat outside, swinging her feet, humming the song her mother always sang. But they never came back. Instead, it was a neighbor who rushed into the compound, wailing, "Accident! Their car, oh, Jesus! They didn't make it." Adewunmi's world shattered in that instant. At the funeral, she clung to her mother's wrapper, now empty, willing herself to wake up from the nightmare. But it was real. And soon, reality became even harsher. Her father's relatives took her in, not out of love, but out of obligation. Aunt Monike, a woman with sharp eyes and a sharper tongue, took one look at her and scoffed. "You're just a burden now," she spat. "If you want to eat in this house, you will work for it." That night, Adewunmi lay on a thin mattress on the cold floor of the kitchen. She hugged herself tightly, choking on her tears, remembering the soft bed she used to sleep in, the warmth of her mother's arms, the gentle voice of her father. But there was no one left to comfort her. The next morning, her new life began. She woke before the sun, sweeping the compound as her cousins still snored in their rooms. She fetched heavy buckets of water, her small arms trembling with effort. She scrubbed floors, washed clothes, ironed, cooked meals she wasn't allowed to eat until everyone else had finished. And if there was nothing left, she simply went to bed hungry. Her cousins mocked her. "Maid. Dirty orphan." When guests visited, Aunt Monike would dress her up in faded clothes and make her stand in the corner like a servant. "Let them see that orphans suffer," she would say, laughing with her friends. At night, when Adewunmi thought she had done all her chores, Aunt Monike would call her back. "I just remembered you didn't wipe the dining table properly. Do it again." If she sighed or hesitated, she was met with the sting of a belt. Ungrateful wretch! She wanted to scream. She wanted to ask what she had done to deserve this. But she knew the answer. She had done nothing except lose her parents. But even in that house of cruelty, Adewunmi had one thing left: nope. She watched, listened, learned. When she was sent to the market to buy food, she paid attention to how traders bargained. She watched how they bought in bulk and resold at a higher price. She saw how a single 5 naira could turn into 10 with patience. And one day, while cleaning under her cousin's bed, she found a crumpled 20 naira note. Her hands trembled. She could have turned it in. She could have pretended she never saw it. But her hopeless situation drove her on. She really needed to change her helpless situation. She folded it tightly and hid it under her thin mattress. That was the beginning. Every naira she found, every small tip she was given when running errands, she saved. A 10 naira tip from the security guard, 5 naira change from an errand, she hoarded it like a starving beggar collecting crumbs. For 4 years, she saved. Until one day, she counted and realized she had 1,000 naira. It wasn't much, but to her, it was everything. With her first 1,000, she made a decision she would never die in that house. On a rare free afternoon, she snuck to the market and bought pure water sachets in bulk. The next day, she sold them near a busy roadside. She walked in the hot sun, calling out, "Cold pure water, 50 naira for 2. She doubled her money in a week. She never stopped. At 14, she was still scrubbing floors at home, still enduring insults, but outside those gates, she was growing. She reinvested every profit, buying more pure water, then soft drinks. She learned to negotiate, to watch trends. By 16, she had a small stall. By 18, she was selling wholesale. By 20, She had saved enough to rent a shop. And the first thing she did after signing the shop lease, she walked back into her uncle's house, packed her torn clothes, and left without a word. Not as a maid, not as useless girl, but as Adewunmi the entrepreneur. Adewunmi had left her uncle's house with nothing but a small bag of worn clothes and a heart full of determination. The first night after she moved out, she slept on the floor of her tiny shop. The walls were bare, the air was cold, and hunger gnawed at her stomach. But for the first time in years, she was free. No more beatings. No more insults. No more waking up before dawn to serve people who despised her. She worked tirelessly, running her business with fierce determination. She was up before the sun, arranging her goods, and she did not close her shop until the streets were empty. She smiled at customers, treated them with kindness, and slowly, they began to trust her. With every naira she earned, she reinvested, expanding her business little by little. She was not just selling drinks anymore, she was building a future. But life was not without its struggles. There were days when sales were low, and she worried about paying rent. Days when thieves stole from her, leaving her in tears. There were times she fell sick, her body weak from exhaustion, but she had no one to care for her. Still, she never gave up. She took night classes, learning basic accounting and business strategies. She listened to successful traders, asking questions, learning from their mistakes. She read books on finance, devouring every bit of knowledge she could find. By the time she turned 22, Adewunmi was no longer just a small business owner. She had 3 shops, each one more successful than the last. At 25, she owned a chain of supermarkets in Lagos. People who once ignored her now called her Madam Adewunmi. Bankers wanted to do business with her. Journalists wrote about her rise from poverty. But she never forgot where she came from. She set up scholarships for orphans, ensuring that no child suffered the way she had. She opened a foundation for abused maids, giving them shelter and training them in business. One afternoon, as she was reviewing her company's accounts in her spacious office, a familiar name appeared on the list of job applicants. Mornike Adepo, her aunt. The same woman who had called her a curse. The same woman who had beaten her, starved her, treated her like trash. Now, she was begging for a job at one of Adewunmi's supermarkets. For a long moment, Adewunmi stared at the screen, emotions warring inside her. Anger, pain, but also a deep sense of victory. She picked up her phone and called the manager. "Invite her for an interview," she said, her voice steady. The next day, Aunt Mornike walked into the supermarket, looking nervous. She did not recognize the powerful woman sitting behind the grand desk. "Good afternoon, Ma," she said humbly, clutching her bag. "I applied for the cashier position." "I am. You are Mornike Adepo," Adewunmi interrupted, standing up. Aunt Mornike gasped, her eyes widening. "Adewunmi?" Her voice shook. I did know that I survived." Adewunmi finished for her, tilting her head. "That I thrived." Her aunt opened her mouth, then closed it, swallowing hard. For the first time in her life, Adewunmi saw fear in Mornike's eyes. And it did not satisfy her. She sighed, looking at the woman who had once made her life hell. "You always told me that orphans suffer. But look at me now." She gestured around the luxurious office. "Who is suffering?" Mornike lowered her head, ashamed. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I treated you badly. I see that now. Please. I need this job." Adewunmi studied her for a long moment. She had a choice. She could deny her the job, make her feel the same pain she had endured. Or she could rise above the past. "You will not work here," she said finally. Mornike's face crumpled in fear, but Adewunmi continued, "I will set up a small shop for you instead. You will run it, and you will never beg for a job again." Tears filled her aunt's eyes. "Why?" she choked. "After everything I did to you." "Because I am not you," Adewunmi said simply. She reached into her bag, pulled out a 1,000 naira note, and placed it in front of her aunt. "This is the first money I ever saved," she said softly. "It changed my life. Now, I am changing yours." And with that, she walked away. Here are 3 moral and emotional lessons from this video. 1. Resilience can turn pain into purpose. Despite the cruelty Adewunmi faced, she chose not to let it define her. Instead, she used her suffering as fuel to build a better life. 2. Kindness is the ultimate power. When Adewunmi had the chance to take revenge on her aunt, she chose compassion over vengeance. True strength lies in forgiving those who wronged you. 3. No beginning is too small. The 20 naira she had sparked a journey of transformation. This teaches us that even the tiniest act of hope and effort can lead to greatness. Thank you lovelies for watching the video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and turn on your notification bell for newest videos on this channel. Love you really good. Have an awesome day.